What's up, peeps? It has been a while. I know. It's been a while. Oh man, sorry it's been so long. Military has had me all over the place. I was in Thailand for a week. Left Thailand, went to the Philippines for another week for my job. My pops had he had surgery when I was in the Philippines, so I had to come home. I get home. I just got back from Austin last night. I drove in from Austin. So I went from Alabama. I drove down there to Austin, check on the family, and came back. So, man, it's been crazy. It's been crazy, man. But look, man, it's Texas football season. And I did get a chance to catch up on a little bit of, like some track and field now down there for the Texas relay. So I got to saw those guys from Duncanville, and we'll talk about Duncanville and, just a special guy that they got there. And hopefully Texas can pull this guy in too. You might have heard of him. His name is Decorian Moore. But fast dude, man, fast team, very fast team, that team has, man. But look, man, just like the title says spring game preview and some recruiting updates, man. So let's go ahead and get into this. I don't have much time today, but just leave your comments, guys, on what you think, man. But let's talk about this Texas team, folks. This Texas team is loaded. Hold on, folks. I get my chair up. So this Texas team is loaded, man. You start to look at from the quarterback position. So you have Quinn Ewers and you have Arch, right? So got to be one of the most stacked rooms here in the country. But you look at that running back room, and that's what I love to see. I love to see that running back room. You got C.J. Baxter, you got Jaden Blue, and thank God Jaden Blue is playing the way that he's playing, man. I think a lot of people forgot just how good Jaden Blue was. This guy was the top back in the country. Starting his junior year, didn't play his senior year, and he got just kind of slept on. But Texas got in on him early. So this kid was trending to be a high 4-star, maybe a low 5-star guy. And then all the stuff happened at the school. But yeah, he has been found money here at Texas. He is 1A, 1B. When it comes to running backs, he's one of the fastest guys in the team. He's an outstanding running back, man. He just brings something very electric to this team. But then, folks, after that, you got a Trey Wisner. So Trey Wisner, I'm probably like the president of his fan club. This dude's awesome. And then you got the two freshmen, man. You got, Clark and you got Gibson. But also, man, look, man, we got Savion Red as well. And looking at Savion Red, just seeing how effective he was last year, so we saw that he put on about 20 or 30 extra pounds this year. Let's see if we can probably slim that down a little bit. But Texas running back room is healthy. It is very healthy. It's one of the healthiest that has been here in, just quite some time. But yeah, you got to love what you're seeing here from the Texas room when it comes to running backs. And wide receiver, folks, this is where I want to talk about. Wide receiver is going to be deep. This Texas team, when it comes to wide receivers, is going to be deep. You got Isaiah Bond, and we saw what Isaiah Bond did at Bama last year. And then you couple that, folks, with Dejounte Cook. And I think people in the building are really raving about Cook and just how good Cook can be. And then you got a guy, like a Matthew Golden, and DeAndre Moore. Silas Bolden is also coming in, folks, in the summer time frame. But you got freshmen that are just turning heads right now. You got a Ryan Wingo who's there, who's a 6'2", 215-pound guy, and he's a just a mold of clay. So Chris Jackson's probably looking at this and seeing his room and just seeing how great that room can be. And then you look at guys like Parker Livingstone, folks. Like Parker Livingstone is a tall guy who, if I'm not mistaken, ran in the 21s and the 200 when he was coming out of high school. And so you're seeing that Sark has these guys, and you got like a Ryan Niblett as well, like a Freddie the Boy Jr. You're seeing that Sark is building the kind of guys that he wants in his room. And Butler also, who we got at the last minute. And yeah, it's just outstanding just to see what you know, this team is getting. What's up, Jason? Jason, folks, he's from Hall of Fame College Football, sports, man. So him and Coach, they're on, and you can kind of see me on the channel too as well, too, man. So shout out to Jason too. Go follow his channel if you can. He's a Sooner, so don't give him too much hell. It is what it is, but everybody can be like Texas Longhorns. It's all good, Jason. What's up, man? Um, but yeah, man, Texas is doing their thing when it comes to the team this year. But I think what I'm most excited about, folks, man, is the offensive line. So the offensive line, man, Texas returning 4 of their 5 starters from last year. From left to right, you got Kelvin Banks Jr. is probably going to be the first tackle or one of the first tackles chosen in the draft this year. He's pretty much I would say a first round pick. I mean, once you see the film and you see how the scouts rave about him, He's an outstanding, asset to this team, and he's been starting since day one. Um, you know, left guard, you got Hayden Connor, and so he's fighting it out with Neto and also Cole Hudson as well. Then at the center, you got Jake Majors, man. So Jake Majors is a trusted guy there. He's been here for what, like 17 years already. But Jake Majors, man, he gets stronger and he gets smarter every year, and that's something that you can't duplicate that. You can't duplicate the starts that he has and just the overall experience and calling the offense, man. But then at that right guard position, man, DJ Campbell. DJ Campbell is a guy that if he has a hell of a season this year, you might see DJ Campbell, pushing to go to the draft this year. He is that athletic, so we saw him playing basketball in his senior year, and just seeing how athletic and just how great his footwork is. Hey man, DJ Campbell's going to be a stud. He already is a stud. He's just a mammoth of a guy. But then at that right tackle, losing Christian Jones, he's going to the draft, folks, and it looks like Christian Jones is rising up the draft boards. He's gonna, if Texas fans would have heard that Christian Jones was going to be a draftable player about 3 or 4 years ago, people would have laughed at him. But just to see what Cal Flood has done with Christian Jones, man, it's just been outstanding. Christian Jones is going to be a top pick this year, probably in the top 120 players. So he's going to be, I would guess, a top 4 round guy, if not a top 3 round guy. Man, he has catapulted himself up the boards. He had a really good senior role, and his combine was really good too as well. Running that fast at that size. And he's just a guy who has gotten better every year. So this tells you, folks, that when it comes to Texas and the development side of the house, man, it has been outstanding here for this team. Since Sark has been here, and also bringing in the staff of Cal Flood, Jeff Banks, Choice, and Terry Joseph and Blake Gideon, and so Chris Jackson as well, and then just the two guys that he got on the line too as well. Baker, who everybody knows who he took the spot of Bo Davis, and then Nansen also also as well, who was taking the spot of Coach Choate. But yeah, I'm excited about this offense. I think this offense is going to be probably what's going to carry this team this year. So we saw the defense. You got Quinn coming back for his third year. And I understand people are saying, hey, they want to see more from Quinn and yada yada yada. Folks, we just went, like 11-1, and then went 12-1 with the Big 12 championship game. This is the first time that we've had a Big 12 championship in what, since 2008, 2009. So look, man, Quinn Ewers is going to be light years better, I think, this year coming up. He's going to play outstanding this year. People love to forget it took Vince Young to his fourth year, prior to him winning the championship, but also him being Vince Young, right? So Jason can probably, say this better than I, but Vince Young's third year, just going against Oklahoma, yeah, it was 0-12 Oklahoma, right? Things happen, right? Even great players have, it takes them time to build up to be who they need to be, right? So, looking at a guy like Quinn Ewers, you've seen the maturation process of him from his first year, to his second year, and now to his third year, right? So his first year starting 8-14. Second year, we go 12-1, actually 12-2 with the playoffs, and then so this year, hopefully we improve on that and do better, and just see where we can go here if Texas can make the playoffs and do well. So, honestly, folks, there's a lot that's going to ride into that too as well. Injuries always play a part in, just in the equation. But if Texas can stay healthy, which is what Texas did pretty much all last year for the most part, minus Brooks getting hurt, but we're so fat at running back right now, man. It's crazy. Um, if Texas can stay healthy, this is going to be a very dangerous team this year. Now, folks, if we go down to that defensive side of the ball, this is what I'm really going to look at here at the spring game. And folks, I wish I can go to the spring game this year. I can't. My kid has a soccer game, his first soccer game this year, so I won't make the spring game this year, but I'll be at his soccer game. I'll be watching it. But look here, man. The thing that I think everybody's going to understand that Texas needs to figure out what they're going to replace, man, is what happens at defensive line, right? What happens at defensive line? We're losing Sweat, we're losing Murphy. Murphy's going to be a first round pick. It looks like Sweat's going to be in the top, like 2 or 3 rounds. What happens at that defensive line position? This is, especially on the interior. Alfred Collins, Vernon Broughton, those are your guys who are going to have to carry this because they are the seasoned veterans going into that room. Can they carry it? Um, hopefully we'll see what happens with the new coach and see how everything gets, with those players and see how they are developed here over this summer and the fall. Because honestly, last year I don't think people the thought that Sweat would be the best lineman in the country last year, right? I don't think people thought that they were going to see what we saw from a Byron Murphy. I love Byron Murphy, and you can go see some of the film. I told Jonathan, from Locked On Longhorns, I thought Byron Murphy was the best player in this team, pound for pound, on this team when we had our draft last year. And some people gave me hell for that, but he's going to be the highest ranked player in this draft this year for Texas. Um, yeah, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be very interesting, man. But yeah, I want to see what's going to happen on that line. Ken Collins, Ken Broughton do their thing. So we got Sevilla too as well, who came from Arizona. Also having guys like Mitchell, but Mitchell came in at 372, so of course he's going to have to slim down. But it's springtime, right? And so you got to get him in shape. I remember meeting Mitchell at the OU game. Was it 2 years ago when he was a recruit and seeing how massive he was then? He's probably like 355 then as a 17-year-old kid. So me and Steven met him. Big kid, man. But yeah, he's probably gonna have to slim down a little bit. But you got him, and you got Bledsoe too there as well. And then also you got Aaron Bryant. So we have bodies there, and then you got January too as well. I like Alex January. I think he's going to be a plus player, but he's a freshman, right? So you don't want to depend on the freshman too much, because from the great, Bobby Petrino, well, not Bobby Petrino, man, Joe Paterno. Well, I say Bobby Petrino. He always made a comment, said every freshman that starts is a loss to your team, right? Is a loss to your overall record. So you don't want to have to put in a freshman if you don't have to. And so Alex January, maybe on a case by case basis, getting some snaps in. But if he's counting on to be one of those plus players, then Texas is in problems when it comes to the interior defensive line. So linebacker. Look, man, we lose Jalen Ford. He's one of the top linebackers in the country, just over the past couple years. But folks, it looks like all reports are saying that, look, man, Anthony Hills is going to be one of those guys um, to move in and take his spot. So if you couple him with Benda, and then you have LaFau, and then you got Samaji Burrell, I think we're going to be pretty fine at just at that linebacker position. I'm not worried about the linebacker position, folks. We just got to stay healthy. Secondary is where I'm really happy about because we get Barron to come back. But I think our corners are solid, man. Having Manny Muhammad and also having Terrence Brooks and Gavin Holmes as well. We got Kobe Black coming in as a true freshman, but at the safety position, I think we really upgraded. Jaron Thompson, very smart player. Him and Taft probably one of the smartest safety tandems that you see. But from a speed standpoint, Thompson was a little bit, just lacking in the speed department. But I think this year we kind of sew that up, man. So getting the kid from Clemson, man, Andrew Makuba, he's going to be awesome. He's going to fit in right just at that safety. Having Derek Williams there too as well. Also having Taft come back and like who else we got in the backfield, man? I think we got Jelani McDonald too as well, who's been playing a little bit of star and also at the safety position. But now let's talk the star, Barron, Gilbo. I mean, guys, we're stacking the secondary. I'm very excited about that. And I think the overall team speed in the secondaries has definitely increased from what we had last year. If we can just shore up the defensive line, folks, I think the edges are going to be great though. Colin Simmons, um, you know, um, Trey from UTSA too as well. So look, man, look, Trey Moore's gonna be really good for us too. I think Colin Simmons is gonna be very good coming off the edge. Jamon Tapp, Efton Berg, Vasic, who else? Darian Gillette. But also, man, we got the ace in the hole too with a guy, Anthony Hill, because we can move him around, and so he can rush off the edge too as well. He's put on some good weight too as well. Once you see those pictures of him, it looks like he's put on some really good weight, but still, he's still able just to stay fluid too as well. I think we're going to be fine, folks. Just when it comes to the defensive side of the ball, we just got to figure out is that interior line going to be able to stand up to what we had last year? Is it going to be as good as last year? Hell no. It's one of the best, interior line units that we've probably seen since we had Casey Hampton and, also Sean Rogers from that line too at the same time. But that was what, over 20, 25 years ago, right? So to kind of compare what we had last year to that is just kind of ridiculous. Well, I'm sorry, trying to compare what we're going to have this year to what we had 20, 25 years ago and also last year. We got to see it first. We just got to see it. So I'm really excited about that. Now, that's the spring game preview, folks. I want to see how the offensive line is going to shake out. I want to see is Neto, is Cole Hudson, are those two really going to push the other offensive linemen? Hayden Connor, most of all, to get snaps at that left guard position, but also having Hayden Connor kind of cross train at that center position. If there's a situation to where we we lose a Jake Majors for a couple games, shout out to Connor Robinson. He came in and did a great job against Oklahoma. I think he played well. Was it Kansas State too as well? But look, man, we gotta have somebody who has some experience to be able to come in and step in behind a Jake Majors if Jake goes out. And so having the guy, like a Hayden Connor, who is cross trained across the line. He can play the left guard. He can play both tackle positions and also center. It's just perfect because then if something happens to Jake Majors, you don't lose um, just that seasoned veteran, right? You move a Hayden Connor to that center position, and then once you do that, folks, then you might bring in a Cole Hudson who started for a full season, or a Neto, and so if Neto comes in and he does this thing, so you have options, and you have Agbo too as well, who's seen the field a lot at tight end, but he's still seen the field and has been into, some game, just some game time situations. Let's take a look. Jason says, "I don't want to think about that monster." Who you talking about, Jason? You talking about Anthony Hill? And then he goes, "What's the key to the team taking the next step?" Next step, man, is the evolution of Quinn Ewers. If Quinn Ewers elevates his game to a level to where Texas fans and I think the staff thinks that he can get to, man, and owns the team. He has to own the team, have that confidence. Man, I think this team can go far. I mean, very, very, very far. Hold on. Here's Gamer's Life goes, "I'm headed out in a minute, but drop by to show support. Hook 'em." Thanks, bro. Thanks, bro. So just get back to Jason's comment, man. Yeah, this is all gonna be on Quinn Ewers, man. How does Quinn evolve as a quarterback? And I think Quinn's gonna evolve perfectly, man. I think Quinn is going to show great things this year. He has the talent around him. I honestly think that this team might be as funny as funny as this may sound. The overall talent at those skill positions, I think, is going to be more than what we had last year. One thing I do want to talk about, though, is a tight end position. Losing JT Sanders is big. So we've seen that JT Sanders was a hell of a player here at Texas. Broke a couple of Texas records here for tight ends. But don't sleep on Gunnar Ham, folks. Gunnar Ham, that's one guy I was extremely happy for last year when he got his touches and got his touchdowns and got his catches. I was extremely happy for him because I thought he was one of those slept on guys. But having Niblack come in from Alabama and just seeing what kind of physical freak that he is, he's probably going to run a 4.5 in the combine next year. He's one of those guys that um, you can line him up in the slot, on the boundary, just all over the field. On the line at tight end, he's not the best blocker, but I think he can do enough, to where the offense won't tip their hand when he's on the field. So look, man, you got things like that are happening. I like what this Texas staff is doing with this team. Now, we talked about the spring game. We talked about what to look for, just the different players. Let's talk about the recruiting trail. All right. So all the buzz that's coming out now, folks, I was just at the Texas Relays on was it Friday? Um, man, DeCorian Moore. He is committed to LSU. Yes, understood. But he just, put out his top 4 teams, which is funny, man, how kids are committed, but they got top 4s. Right. So to me, that sounds like open season when it comes to this recruitment. And it's Texas, I think Texas, LSU, Oregon, and Ohio State. man, DeCorian Moore is one of those players. He's the number one wide receiver in the country for a reason. He's one of the top five players at the lowest ranked from any site. He is the number, I think, fifth ranked player in the country. I'm just going to share my screen here. I just want to show um, his on three page. Let's take a look. His on three page has him as. Give me a second. Let's take a look at this. And so here's DeCorian Moore. There you go. Bam. All right, let's get rid of that comment. All right, so folks, you see it right here, man. His on three page. He's the national third ranked player here in the country, the number one wide receiver, number one player in the state of Texas. 247 has him as a 5-star also. Number four player in the state, I mean in the country, number one wide receiver. Folks, that's a common theme here. And the number two ranked player in the state of Texas, ESPN, 5-star guy, the fifth ranked player in the country, the number one ranked player in the state of Texas, and the first wide receiver in the country too as well. And then Rivals has him as a 5-star and the fourth ranked player in the country. The first wide receiver and the first ranked player in the state of Texas too as well. Look, man, if Texas can get their hands on Moore, the Corey Moore is one of those prospects, man. If you couple him with the likes of Ajante Cook, who's going to be here, and Silas Bowden, and Matthew Golden's still here, and you got the Ryan Wingos and the Aaron Butlers and the Livingstone. DeCorian Moore is one of those guys who can come in here and he's going to get snaps from day one. That's how good he is. He's a rare talent, very rare talent, and we see why. Texas is looking at him. They're in his recruitment heavy. Um, we saw his speed on hand at Texas Relays this weekend. Those guys just won the state championship. They broke the national record and came in second a few weeks ago. I mean, he's is the speed in this state is it's just crazy. But him at wide receiver, the speed that he actually has and possesses is stupid. And then if you look at um, his quarterback there also at Duncanville, Russell. He's another good player too, man. At 6'1", 180 pounds, 6'1", 185 pounds or so. Both these guys are two-time state champions, man, back to back. They're going for the third. Like this year, they got a great shot. Duncanville, Coach Sampson has built a hell of a team there, man. Interesting to actually follow this team. My brother and sister went to Duncanville, so Duncanville kind of has a soft spot in my heart. But seeing them play also, man, who else went to Duncanville? Was it EJack? I'm pretty sure Eric Jackson also went to Duncanville. That's a blast from the past, man. So he played at Texas too as well. I think EJack came in 04, I think. But EJack came in too as well. He's from Duncanville too as well. But yeah, man, Duncanville's always it's gonna always hold a soft spot in my heart because my sister and brother went there. But um, that team is loaded always, always, always. Texas has two guys from Duncanville in January, and also Simmons that came in this class this year. And I'm pretty sure that they're in the ear of Moore to have him come to Texas. If Texas can pull him, that will be truly outstanding to put just that wide receiver talent in that room. And you can see what Sark's trying to build. So he's about 5'11", 175 pounds. And Sark is trying to build a great offensive line that envies and kind of parallels up to what you see in the NFL. I think this line this year, if the starters are who we think they're going to be, the average starting weight of this line is going to be about 335 pounds. So it's going to rival basically a line from the NFL. But he also wants Lamborghinis, folks. He wants Lamborghinis, folks, at that wide receiver position. And if he can get that, you're talking about speed all the way around, having guys that run 10-3 and 100-meter dash, man, at every position at the wide receiver, where slot, field, or boundary is going to be stupid, ridiculous. And I think that's what Sark's going to sell to some of these players, man, is that that's what he wants. And he's going to probably try to sell that wide receiver room that was at Bama when he had all those great wide receivers there. And he's also going to sell that, look, folks, this previous year having, AD Mitchell, I'm saying, Adonai Mitchell running 4.35 in the combine and, likely a first round pick. And then also having Xavier Worthy break the combine record at 4.21, just to have that kind of speed. And he's showing folks that that's what I want here on this team here for the 2024 season and beyond. But folks, if Texas is able to pull DeCorian Moore, man, you're talking about Sark will be in his bag like he always is when it comes to recruiting. Now, people are probably wondering why is the recruiting so slow right now? And it's not that it's not that it's slow, folks. You gotta understand, Sark does late evaluations, and he doesn't pull the trigger on a bunch of guys until he kind of does the full gamut of straight up recruiting. He wants to know exactly what these guys can bring to the table. He's going to uncover issues if there are any issues throughout the season, and he wants a Texas scholarship to mean something. He wants you to say, "Man, I got my Texas scholarship." It used to be back in the day. Like you would see guys that get handed scholarships just off the rip. And you would see Mac Brown, kind of finish up his recruiting after junior day. He would get, 10, 15 commitments after junior day, and it was done. Right. And so, if you tested well at Texas, you end up getting a scholarship. I think those days are going to be long gone here at Texas because for the simple fact that Steve Sarkisian, what he's doing is he's doing thorough evaluations. He's looking at guys like Ty Anthony Smith that he got in last year, and he waited kind of to the last moment to get that last evaluation and seeing what he can do, offers him, and then he flips from A&M to come to the University of Texas. You're seeing him keeping in contact with folks. He doesn't care if you're committed to a different school. He's going to stay in contact with you just like he did with Worthy. Worthy was at Michigan. Worthy ends up at Texas because of the relationships built between Steve Sarkisian and, the guys who he actually recruits. And look at here, man. We got the Corey Moore. He's a LSU commit. He's a LSU commit, but in saying that, Steve Sarkisian and Chris Jackson and team are going to continue to stay in contact with him, and assure that family continues to love the University of Texas so that he can come in and swoop in and get him, right? Get him. It'd be hard pressed to see a guy like that leave the state of Texas. And I think what Sark's doing, he wants to close those borders on those big time recruits, man. Close those borders and make sure that Texas talent, especially at the top tier, remains in the state of Texas. He's done a pretty good job of that these last couple years, and I feel like Sark is going to continue to do that. So you got to love what you're seeing here from Sark when it comes to recruiting. He waits out. He knows the guys he wants. His evaluations are pretty spot on, folks. Trey Moore. No, I'm sorry, Trey Owens. Trey Owens at the quarterback position. We're hearing the rave reviews come out of there from practice. He's a third stringer. He's a true freshman, but he has the size and the arm talent, the arm strength. Kind of reminds you a little bit like Mac Jones, a little bit, just his stature. He's a bigger guy than Mac Jones. But great arm talent, very, very, smart kid. And he has picked up the offense, from what people can say. And you can see him slinging that rock around. And looks really, really good and very comfortable, just in that offense. And you're seeing like the late evaluations on just players just around the country and seeing what Sarkisian has done. But folks, I'm almost out of time. I got to head out here in a minute, but I just want to say one thing that I am excited about this team. I'm excited about the offensive line and what Sark has done here. Just over the past, this is Sark's fourth year coming up, right? So over the past, like 3 years, man, seeing what he has done and has overhauled what was probably the biggest weakness of this Texas football team which was the offensive line. He has overhauled that to be probably one of the biggest strengths of this team. Because if you can't protect your quarterback, your prize possession, and you can't open holes for your running backs, then guess what? Those 5-star wide receivers and tight ends that you're getting are not going to be able to get that ball. Sark has assured that he's bringing in SEC muscle, like when it comes to the offensive line, having big kids, big kids, man, is something that him and Cal Flood are doing, and they have done really good at bringing those guys in. And Jason says, "Good stuff, Nino." Yeah, so come join us one of these nights. Prayers for your pops, man. Appreciate that, Jason. Appreciate that, bro. But yeah, man, look, it is 7:09, man. I'm gonna hop off. I gotta handle some business, but thank you guys for tuning in, man. First time back in a while, but it won't be the last time. You guys will see me here again, probably at the end of this week. Catch me tomorrow, the SEC Connect. I'm going to do a small little token from my sponsor here, which is going to be Autograph. It's a brand new app. You guys take a look at my video, and that'll be it. What's up, peeps? It's time to level up your fandom. Ninos Corner has officially become a partner with the Autograph app. Go download that Autograph app, folks, to get all of your favorite podcasts, blogs, and more all in one place. Plus, get some exclusive rewards for being a Texas super fan. How does this work, folks? Well, if you're on Autograph, you get to look at different blogs and different YouTube posts and different podcasts, and you earn points for clicking on these links, looking at the videos, and just being a fan. These points are used for numerous things: March Madness tickets, pizzas during game weeks, and things of that nature. But just a little bit more about Autograph. Autograph was co-founded by Tom Brady, yes, the GOAT, Tom Brady, with the goal of getting the fans closer to the teams they love and giving them some rewards for being super fans just like you. Like I said before, folks, earn those points in the app by reading, listening, and following all the madness. Autograph is fueled by our love for the fans. Now it's your turn to be rewarded for your unwavering support and commitment to your team. Like I said before, download the Autograph app on your iPhone, on your iPad, on your computer, and use the promo code NinosCorner to link yourself to all the different podcasts, all the different blogs, and everything about Texas.